What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? It's Thursday. And it's not just Thursday, it is a beautiful, beautiful Thursday. For the end of April, a day like today doesn't get much better. We're going to jump right into it because I don't have a ton of time today. We're gonna get right into it here with the fishing report right off the bat. Water temps everywhere around the lake that I saw today were between 49.5 and 51. It was a pretty narrow temperature window, but I have been shallow all day. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I've been fishing shallow all day. When I went out looking in deeper water, I was just graphing. So I'm out looking for where I'm going to fish on Monday, and we got to be pretty close. I'm going to announce the winner here as soon as we might have already hit 2,500 YouTube subscribers. I'm not sure, but as soon as I hit 2,500 YouTube subscribers, I'm going to pick one name from the people that have bought, from the list of people that have bought tickets for Walleye Fest, and that's who's going to go fishing with me Monday morning for this coming Monday for opening day. So the one thing we have to do though is, if your name gets called and you can't make it on Monday, which I completely understand, I have to know immediately, if not sooner, because I got to pick somebody else. Okay. So that's the only stipulation. And this contest is for Monday morning, opening day with me out here. And you've got to be able to go Monday morning. And I don't want anybody to get in trouble at work or the wife or anything like that. If you can make it, great. If you can't, then I understand that. But we'll move on and get somebody out here, because I want one of the people that have bought a Walleye Fest ticket to go fishing with me Monday morning for opening day. So that's where we're at now. The fishing report. We have a light east wind today. When I left the house this morning, a little after 6, it was about 30 degrees. It was cold. Everything was frosted. And there was a really, really thick blanket of fog. Really thick. It didn't clear up until I got out here on the lake where I could see. I mean, I was going 2 miles an hour in the river because you couldn't see the bow. So the sun burned it off, and it was just glass when I got out here. And I started along the North Shore. I was in 5 foot of water, and I was in there looking for smallmouth. And I ended up catching 2 walleyes. I came out here and was looking in some deeper water off the edge of a drop-off. I didn't really see many marks to fish to, so I kind of let it slide me up onto the shelf here. And I've been in as little as 5. I'm in 8 foot of water now. I just had another walleye on a skirted jig. Again, I'm bass fishing, and I just had another big. It was a good one too. It was 20 inches, spawned out. Tail and fins were just shredded. I don't know if that's indicative more of male or female or either, but they were both spawned out. Skinny fish, but both keepers, both good fish. So, and both hit something, I don't want to say weird. I mean, it's you put it by them, and I don't know that they care one way or another, but I mean, so this is the skirted grub. It's just a Mr. Twister tail. That's not what brand this is, but just a curly tail grub with that little skirt on it. And that walleye ate it just like a smallmouth did. It just went tick, and I reeled 2 more times, and it went grrr, like that. So it was right on. Let's do a quick hi, how are you, and see who's here this morning. A lot of people here. Wow. Don Terry, Danny Diamond. Danny says good morning. He's heading to the water now. Keith Horns, what's up, my brother? Merlin, what's up, Wiz? Paul Messina, happy Thursday, family. Rob H, good morning. David Gould, good morning. Hook and Eyes, Dennis, heading out in a bit to try out my electronics. Kid's gotta play with his new toys. Right on, Dennis. I wish you the best of luck with that. Eric Wisniewski, what's up, Wiz? Good morning. Out here with Captain Tony Buffa, my friend Tony. I got more to say about that in a second. Rob H, it is beautiful. Rob says it looks awesome out there. It is. Joe Kangemi, Joe, I'll get back to you. John Karnowski, good morning, sir. George Parson, good morning. Stephen Lejeune, good morning. Water looking great. It is. It really is. It's setting up that this is, in my humble opinion, this is setting up for a perfect spring, perfect opening week, perfect Walleye Fest Derby for opening weekend. Like, the water's right, the temps are right, the weather's stable, and even though we got a little bit of a cool down coming over the weekend, I don't think that's going to matter much. The water is set up perfectly. Gary Walters, what's up, buddy? Tim G, good morning. Scott Duranda, Just Paul, Nat Lussey. Those Connecticut guys. Hey, I made this morning to the chat. What's up, Mike? When are you coming up to the lake? Nat Lussey, looks beautiful out there. Yes, it is. Beautiful. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. Not a soul around. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I just had, oh boy, was it Tom and Mary? I just had a couple come up in their boat. They live over on Scribe Creek, and they were out here fishing this morning, and he saw the boat and zoomed over and said hello. They're in Walleye Fest. They're gonna see us all Friday night at the kickoff party. He's got his son and grandson coming out with him to fish for opening day. Oh, there's a ton of bait right there. Look at you. A whole school of bait. I'm in 7-8 foot of water, and all of a sudden I just see these little shimmers going by me, and it's a school of bait. Huh, interesting. Jeff Wooden, Rumble Seat, Tim Graver. Tim, I'm not far from your place, actually. I can see it from here. I've got a play Saturday in Pennsylvania, in Penn Yan, and can fish Saturday and Sunday, but it's not looking good weather-wise this weekend. Yeah, I don't think the weather's supposed to be wonderful this weekend, but it's not supposed to be too bad. Merlin, what's up, baby? So last night, Courtney and I went to, and my partner Chuck, we went to the Ola meeting, and my friend Tony Buffa had called me last week and said, Matt, you know, I petitioned the board to have you guys there and to promote Walleye Fest, and we did. And Tony, I couldn't be more thankful to you for that opportunity. The meeting was great. There was a lot of amazing people. Bill Evans and Tony Vandervalk, two people I already knew. I just met Tony and Bill both in the past month, and they were talking. And Tony is from Cornell, and Bill is from the hatchery in Constantia. I think the most interesting portion of the night for me was hearing Tony Vandervalk talk about, and he told me about it 2 weeks ago when I met him. While we were tagging fish for the Derby, he was telling me about this telemetry study that they've got coming up, and they showed the grid last night and how many fish they're going to tag and put these transmitters in. I think that's going to be fascinating, and that's the first time that's ever been done on this lake, I believe, and that's going to tell us a lot. And I think people are going to be shocked when they see how far and wide these fish travel and how spread out they are within the lake in different areas, different conditions, different ecosystems. You know, a lot of people still think that walleyes live in the deep, dark, cold, and they don't ever see the light of day, and that's just not true. And that's not only a spring thing. There are more walleyes living shallow than I think anybody has any idea of, and I don't think we as a group of anglers look for them shallow enough most days. So that's, I think, going to shine a light on where these fish go and where, why, and when. So I'm very, very, very interested. You know, the research Cornell does and has done for the past almost 70 years, since the 50s. And last night when they introduced their new director, their new senior scientist there, she said at the podium, one of the reasons she took the position here at Cornell and at the Shackleton Point Research Facility is the book of data they have is so thick and so dense, and has been going on for so long, that to come here and add to that study but have that much historical data is really, she said, was the deciding factor. So the work that Cornell does here at Shackleton Point, and I spoke with Tony again last night, Tony Vandervalk, and we will be doing a live interview there at some point, maybe before Walleye Fest, I'm not sure yet, but he was more than welcoming to have me come in and show all you guys on YouTube land, you know, what's really taking place there, and the kind of work they do. It's that meeting, like the OLA said last night, it's the meeting between the science and the angler and what they mean to each other. And historically speaking, especially in this country, there is no larger and more vocal group of conservationists out there than the sportsmen that utilize the resource directly. And the vast majority of everything from licensing dollars, you know, to input and how we utilize our resources comes from the angling and the sportsman community, whether it's hunters and hunting issues or fishermen and fishing issues. And to know that we have the OLA and Cornell and really New York State DEC. You can say whatever you want about not trusting government organizations, but we're pretty fortunate. The DEC has been in charge of our outdoor world for a long time, and you know, I've had this conversation multiple times with many people, especially recently, and I would say in this country that New York State for freshwater fishing would be second only to Minnesota. Only. Minnesota, in my opinion, is probably the best freshwater fishing in the country, and I've never even been there. I'm just looking at it from afar. But the resources they have and the amount, you know, so, but I'll take number two. So that means we have a lot of people working together to do what's the best for the resource, the fishery, the fish, and the anglers. So let me catch back up here. Don Terry says, I saw a school of minnows by the rock bar by me in 13 foot of water the other day. I believe they were buckeyes. Yeah. These were super shiny, I can tell you that much. And they were just under the surface. Tim Graver, save some fish for me. What depth are you fishing and what are you using? Because I didn't want to use that. Like I say, Tim, I'm in front of your house. I'm just west of your house. And I'm in 8 foot of water up on the sandbar. I was hoping to find some smallmouth in here cruising on the sand. I have not done that yet. Chief Stone, Kevin, it was a pleasure meeting you last night, my friend. I love putting faces and names together. I met Gary Walters the other day. Gary's on here now and is on here all the time. You know, Kevin's on here. Chief Stone is on here all the time. And it was really my pleasure to meet you both. And everybody, you know, buddy of mine come up last night. His son won one of the giveaways, Ryan Coughlin. My buddy Casey came up. He was there last night. And I don't know that I've seen Casey since about 1990, probably the year after we graduated from high school. And we sat and talked and caught up. I loved it. So last night was a great night. It was a great night. Dan Biddle, good morning. And on a personal note last night, I'm not going to say his name. He's somebody that was important to me when I was in high school. Very important to me. And whether he knew it or not, he had an impact on my life. And he came up to me last night, and I see him from time to time. In the last couple of years, I've seen him here and there. My wife and I ran into him and his wife at Twin Trees Pizza in Cicero, of all places, one day. And he came up to me last night, and he shook my hand, and he got in real close. And it's the first time I'd seen him since probably last summer. And he said to me, he said, "Matt," he said, "you have no idea the impact you had on my life recently." He said, last September, I had some major health issues, and I had a heart issue that he said was very serious. And he looked at me and he said, "I listened and watched your show every day." And he said, the impact that you had and your positivity kept me going. He said, because I was in a pretty dark place. He said, I'm in my 70s, and he goes, I thought this might be it. And he looked me right in the eyes, and this is somebody that I looked up to when I was young. And he said that to me, and I had the same reaction last night in front of everybody that I'm having right now. I don't necessarily know how other people perceive what I do every day. I never in a million years thought that it would be something like that. And I can tell you honestly, he's the second person. There was a gentleman that was at the Ice Bowl that said the same thing to me, that he had a massive stroke, and he was in the hospital, and he listened every day. And he goes, you're just positive, and you talk about things that are real and meaningful, and we all have that connection. And to say last night was humbling to me is an understatement. And so to the man last night, who we talked for 20 minutes, and he's 100% now, and he's back at it, and he's going to be out fishing for Walleye Fest. Yes. I'll do this every day for the rest of my life if I can even help one more person like that, and we've all been in those places, and we've all been in those mindsets, that we can't, you don't see a way out sometimes, you don't see the light, you don't see the tunnel even, and God damn it, we have more power individually than we believe, and we are unstoppable collectively. And in a world nowadays that seems to breed intolerance and hatred and those kind of feelings, I don't have any place for that, because I don't want to carry it around. I don't want to carry it around, and I don't want to pass it off on other people. I want to be the opposite of that, It took me a long time in life to get to where I understand that there's a different way to look at things, and I'm human, and we all have our days, and I get frustrated and mad sometimes, at myself, at situations, at people. You know, I read something once, you know, they're like, you can stop in self-pityville every once in a while but you can't stay there. You can't stay there because it's not good for anybody. So all you guys and girls, I love you. I believe that we found each other collectively for a reason, and I'm going to keep that reason going. As much for myself as for everybody else out there. And these are tears of joy, you know, because he's okay. And I'm feel gratified that in some small way I was able to positively affect someone's life and in the outcome, you know, and I am down with that, baby. Because we say it to each other, you know, and I always say, keep your tip up. But keep your tip up, man. Keep it up. Leave it up. Because what are the alternatives? Give up? Roll over? Die? Keep your tip up. My gramp said it to us when we were kids. You know, he had 3 grandsons that were 6 years apart, all 3 of us. And I'm sure it was a fiasco every time he took us fishing. I don't really remember everything, but I heard him say that to us 1,000 times. At the very least, you know, don't give him slack. Keep your tip up. Do the same thing in your life. Keep your tip up. Keep trying. Keep moving forward. Do things for yourself. Do good things for yourself just like you would do for somebody else. The old saying, you know, when the plane's going down and that mask comes out of the ceiling and the stewardess has told you at the pre-flight conference, make sure you put your mask on first before you help anybody else. And when I was younger, I didn't understand that. Well, shouldn't I try to help other people if I can? And the absolute fact of it is you do that because if you don't save yourself, you have no possibility of saving anybody else. Or at the very least, you have more people you can help if you're already good. If you're not good, you're no use to anybody, including yourself. And our daily dose of positivity today is you never know. You never know when you come in contact with somebody what their deal is, what their situation is, what just happened in their life, what's coming in their life. And I have to take my own advice sometimes too. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. I'm just a guy. But I want to be better. I want to live in a better world. And even if that means talking about fishing, and if I show people the inside scoop on how to do something or how to use a lure and it makes them confident to go and fish something else or fish the same way but different or better, and they catch a couple fish and they enjoy it more and they go more, and next thing you know they've got a fishing buddy, and sign me up. I'll do it all day long. I don't care about secrets. I don't care about spots. I don't care about any of it. I'll tell you what I'm using, where I'm using, and how I'm using it. And if you come out and want to fish next to me, have at it. It's not affecting me any. I don't think I own anything. I don't think I know more than anybody. I just fish a lot. And I fished a lot at a high level all my life. And so I like to share that. I like to share it. That's how this all started. That's how it'll always continue. I like to share it. And I thank everybody out there on that side for being here every day, for showing up, for enjoying it, for allowing me to do what I love deeply. Love you guys and girls out there in YouTube land. I love meeting everybody. And I am richer for it. I can tell you that. Keep your tip up. Keep your tip up. And if your tip is up, help somebody else get their tip up and keep it there. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow on Friday.